film is louder than bombs, and it's a departure. You know, this is a different direction for you. The most obvious is that you're not in Oslo. You want to talk a little bit about the decision to work with English language actors in New York City?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I come from Norway. It's a country with 5 million people speaking that language. It's not a lot. So it was a natural thing for me. When I wanted to go to film school at the time, there wasn't even a film school in Norway. I went to London, National Film and TV School, studied there, stayed there for a while, started doing short films in English, and there was always this ambition of wanting to do international movies. But after film school, it was easier to get a film financed in Norway, and there was this sort of sense between me and my co-writer Eskil Vogt that there hadn't been so many Norwegian films, at least, that were mirroring or reflecting upon the current generation of people growing up in Oslo. And therefore we decided to go home and do Reprise, which we found to be we thought, okay, you know, we can try to make a film in Norway, and if it's awful, we won't show it to anyone. I'll go back to London and pretend that's my first film. You know, you always need like an escape route. Right. But it turned out that that film traveled, and it turned out to be, you know, distributed by Miramax. And these very kind words from Manola Dargis and other critics made it a film that got noticed in America, which was quite unexpected for us. So then I went to Los Angeles and I did all the meetings, which I understand is sort of a formal experience for a young director. And I met a lot of interesting people, but all the projects that were presented to me, none of them seemed to kind of somehow be what I wanted to do next.
What kind of projects were you finding that you're getting?
Different kinds of things, and I feel awful being negative about them. Several of them were very, very prestigious and interesting projects, but you know, some of them were genre movies, maybe a thriller, and they wanted me to add the structural element from my first film, where I try to explain it's not just sort of a spice that you put on a story. It's something that needs to be inherent, that the form and the content somehow mirrors each other. And other things, because I said at the time I was interested in character stories, I read several kind of family drama things, which brought us to the idea of, you know, what sort of American movies, if I was to make one, was I interested in making at the time.
Gabriel, I know this isn't your first Cannes. How's this one going? How's it compared to coming here before?
Well, the first time I came here was with The Usual Suspects, and we made that film in 26 days and blew up a boat on the 27th day and thought that nobody would ever go see the film. Because when I read that script initially, to be honest, I said to myself, Kevin Spacey reads the plot off a wall and then walks away at the end and doesn't limp anymore. People are going to believe that. Well, they did. That's what's remarkable about. Yeah, and then I came here with a film called Jindabyne with the Australian director Raymond Lawrence. But yeah, I think it's a very vulnerable time for filmmakers to come here because it's like coming to a church and you put your baby up there on the altar and you hope that it will be accepted. I mean, Cannes audiences are very tough. I heard the other day that there were some filmmakers, they screened their picture and the sound of chairs going up as people left. I suppose it's a valid form of criticism, but how hurtful it must be to those people who worked for so long on the film. So you watch the film on this gigantic screen with 1,000 people. Yeah. It's not like you're at home and you can go and make a cup of tea and say, well, I'll watch the rest of it later on. You know, you have to watch it. And you have to watch it in a kind of rigid, with a rigid sense of attention and detachment.
One of my fears going into this screening was that you know, teenagers are hard enough for American directors to get well. American teenagers, it's so hard to get teens that feel authentic. And then there's the whole layer of being a European director making your first English language film. And I've seen directors I love get so many things right and shoot it beautifully, but maybe not get the way the details of, say, life in New York works. As somebody who's pretty close to the age of the character you felt, were you part of the process of making sure that this kid felt like a real American teenager, or How did, because I really feel like the scenes among the young kids worked so well.
Yeah, I think going into the film, one of the most important things for us for this character was to, and not just for this character, but for all of the characters, to feel real and grounded and to be 100% authentic and relatable in certain aspects. So that was definitely something that we focused on, and it was a lot of, again, you get the best way to become this character is to have a deep understanding of who they are. So that, again, when we were working on that was something that was very important to us, is understanding the characters so that we could become them and add different elements to them, such as different like quirky things that he does that the average person does that maybe they don't realize they're doing, but like playing with their fingers, biting their nails, messing with their head or something. It was all certain little nuances that we did to make everything feel natural, and that sometimes we didn't even know we were doing. We were just being real.
And it's your first Ken. You're the newbie here.
Yeah.
How surreal has it been?
It's been incredible. When I was told that it was going, that it was 100% going, I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So like I Googled pictures and I was like, whoa.
But the last time you were here, you were in Uncertain Regard. This time you're in competition. How different is that experience, and how different does does the pressure feel? Is there more pressure in that situation?
Yeah, I feel it. It's. What can I say? It's an honor as well. It's great, and you work for years. Like this film has taken 6 years from when we started writing until it's now premiering. So of course it's a big honor, and I'm not going to say anything negative about it. But the pressure is different. All the films on these charts get compared every day, and coming from a small country, we're very grateful that we're allowed to enter the big stage. It's a treat.